Welcome back to the lab. JJ and I joined by the head coach Clay Helton for one more segment, and three more practices to go, as we said, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for Coach to get things sorted out, and then it's on to the off season. What are the plans for the off season? What do you do from now until we see again fall camp?
Yeah, so basically April 15th starts spring evaluation. So we'll be out on the road for the next month and a half all the way till May 31st, really looking at right now juniors that are getting ready to be seniors, as well as it'll be a different time for us. For the first year, you'll actually have official visits in spring. So,
Right.
so we'll actually be taking some weekends in April, May, and June, and then being hosting young men coming in. The month of June is a huge time for us. It's the time that we have our high school camps, and we'll have anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 young men on campus over the summer and going through our camp. So it's a great opportunity for us to get ahead in recruiting, to get some very important evaluations on some young men that could possibly be a part of our football team.
You know, I know we're in the first year of the new recruiting process compared to the old one, but how much do you like or embrace what's happened? How much does it help USC per se compared to maybe some other schools to give them a competitive advantage either way?
Yeah, I think there's some early decisions that you have to make now, especially in that early signing period in December. And, having been through the first time, you got to make a tough call. And we looked at it, and we knew we had 18 to sign, and we had 10 fabulous young men that we were like, okay, this is great, let's get them signed up. But we also knew we just didn't want to fill our numbers because there were so many quality, talented players out there. I mean, an Amon-Ra St. Brown was still out there, a J.T. Daniels was still out there, an Isaac Taylor Stewart and Elijah Griffin. You're talking about elite talent, Talanoa Fanga. I mean, so you really had to say, okay, are we going to compete at the highest level to win national championships and go do our job and recruit and close, or are we just going to take numbers early? And I think at our level, trying to be elite and be the best in the country, you have to go win those battles. And we were fortunate enough to do that, and we're going to have to do it again.
Speaking of that, a question from Steve Rodriguez. How is our depth looking for this season on both sides of the ball? Something you've talked about a lot this spring, which is developing that second and third level.
Yeah, definitely. What I saw in the offensive line really thrilled me last Saturday, because there was a true two deep that I think anybody in our league would have loved to have. To be able to see Said and Vi run the ball like they did, and still know that Stephen Carr's, coming back, and Dominic Davis possibly coming back, and and to have another young freshman and Marquis Stepp coming in, you just feel the depth at each one of these positions. We're above 80 scholarships again, and the name of the game is development. I'm looking at one right there. That was a young buck, just felt like a blink of an eye ago in Tyler Vaughn's, and now you look up and he's leading our football team. So that's the key, is to get quality young men, talented young men, and then develop them to go be the next Robert Woods or Marquise Lee or Nelson Aguilar or Juju Smith. So it's a fun time right now. We got some great kids, some great talent, and it's a fun time being a coach.
You've had a couple guys that have missed significant amount of spring, if not all of it. But and on the offensive line, in the case of, Austin Jackson has missed and Toa has missed. But because of that, other guys have gotten a chance. How much has that – you don't want guys to be hurt, obviously, especially starters. Yeah. But how much has that helped in spring, sort of forcing some guys into positions they are not accustomed to being in?
Good Lord was watching after us, because I got a chance to get Toa healthy and have the opportunity really to train a Brett Nealon and a Justin Dedich, two really talented interior linemen that can be centers for us or guards. But to get them that extra work is invaluable. To be able to, all of a sudden you lose a Michael Pittman to a shoulder, but that allows you to let Velus Jones step up and really show himself in the last two scrimmages, and Joshua Mortabebe really to do a nice job. So it's good to have those opportunities in spring to really try to push the twos and threes and some younger talent up to where they can perform as ones.
You're listening to the head coach Clay Helton on Trojans Live. Another fan question, this one from Patrick Schuler, I'm guessing is how his last name is pronounced. How does Coach Helton feel about our schedule this year?
It's always what I think one of the best ones in the country. When you're playing 9 Pac-12 title games, Pac-12 Pac-12 games in a league that had 9 bowl-eligible teams. You go to Texas. You go bring Notre Dame here. That's a great resume, and that's what you want. You want to play the best, and you want to go do your job. And when you go do your job, there's no question of what your resume is and should you be a playoff football team. So I've always appreciated USC for the level of competition that they bring into play. It's one of those things. It's one of the reasons I love being here. There's no easy games, and they're all dang fun. And some of them more than others. But that's one of the things I see is when you go have that special season. And I even think about last year. You go 11-2, and with that resume, if we found a way to beat Washington State and Pullman, it could be a different discussion.
Right.
But that's what you want. You want to play the best, so there's no question mark when you do your job that you're going to be one of those 4 teams.
As you get ready for or close out spring ball, how important is it to name starters? I mean, we already know that the quarterback position, you're not going to name a starter. You're going to wait until the summer for that. So there's some position that, of course, a little bit more highlighted. But is it important or not important to get guys to establish, sort of as many starters as possible? I mean, what's your theory behind that?
Well, I'll say this. You've played here, JJ, and you know how important that field is, that level of competition, and knowing that competition never ends.
Right.
And that's real life. That, whether it's elite college football, whether it's the NFL, whether it's in the business world, competition is a day-to-day thing. And it's about the guy that's playing the best in the moment. And that's at all positions, not only the quarterback position, but all. And we have the opportunity to evaluate all our players. There's 11 of them that aren't even here. There's some coming off injury that we're going to be able to see in fall camp. Our job is to be able to go through those 25 practices of training camp, go ahead and get to that game week, and then say, okay, guys, this is where we're starting out game 1. Doesn't mean that it's going to be like that game 2, 3, 4, right. Because you may have injury or a guy all of a sudden develops into where he's playing better. But our guys understand that competition is a good thing. You're entitled to nothing, right. In this world. You go out and you compete for it and you earn it. And if you're the best guy, then you're going out there to be the first one out there.
Yeah, and so to that end, I'll ask one more fan question. Reggie Perkins. He's asking, will Cedric Ware be the lead horse out of the backfield this year? As you just said, nothing is decided, but he has had a heck of a spring, hasn't he?
I tell you what, as good a spring as anybody on our football team. Consistent and really has earned a lot of respect, I think, with his teammates because he was the one kid that, when we got down a little bit losing Steve and then Vi had a little bit of a hamstring, he just kept on running and just seemed to not get tired. And he's an every down back that runs violently in between the tackles and has really done a nice job adding a little weight, a little strength, and he's got a ton of experience. He's a 4th-year senior that's played a lot of football for us. So I'm glad he's here. He makes me sleep a little bit easier at night.
There's a lot of household names that we're going to cover, and we have covered today, but one name that I have to bring up because was one of my favorites when he played back in high school, sort of has fallen off the USC radar in Jonathan Lockett. That he's been gone. People thought a lot of people thought he probably graduated, but he has had a great spring as well, and that's really good to see.
Yeah, I tell you, we made a huge investment. With not doing both his hips that were injured, and when you do a hip surgery, it's 6 months worth of recovery. So we had that redshirt year, and we wanted him to have a great senior year and his best that he could have, and so we invested in that. And he's come back this spring, and just right where he left off, just so instinctive. And made a huge pick in the scrimmage the other day, and it read a rookie quarterback, and you could see it coming. It was like in slow mo. I was like, no! You could just see the vet just foaming at the mouth, knowing he was going to pick this slant off. But to have him back is a great thing for our team. He brings a lot of experience, and what a great person.
All right, thank you, Coach. A reminder to everyone listening and watching, USCTrojans.com/tickets is where you go to get tickets for this upcoming season. Keep the questions coming in. Next is Tyler Vaughns, then Porter Augustin. We're talking spring football on Trojans Live.